Okay guys, so in this video I'm going to show you how to cut yourself out for your doodle self-portrait. And I'm actually going to start here in Photoshop and then I'm going to move into Illustrator. So let's see how this works. I'm going to go ahead, and my computer's being a little bit laggy. So I'm going to go back to my starting image. And I'm going to go ahead and use object selection. Use any of the selection tools you want to cut yourself out. You could use the polygonal lasso. If you want to get like kind of a scissor looking very sharp edge cutout, you could use the quick selection. I'm just going to go ahead and use the object selection and see if Photoshop will do this for me without crashing my computer. Okay, so I was able to use my object selection tool to go ahead and select the subject. You can take your time, spend more time really refining your selection. Don't forget there's the select and mask if you want to go back in there. But I'm happy with this as is. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste. And then I'm going to turn off this layer so I can really see what I have selected. I'm going to go ahead and throw a solid color in here just so I can see what my selection is looking like. And it's pretty good. But you can see that this area is a little bit wonky. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my subject right here. I'm going to use my eraser tool, or you could use your mask. So you know what, let's go ahead and do good artist practice and go ahead and use our mask with a black paintbrush. I'm going to use a hard paintbrush on full opacity. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just shift clicking so I get some nice straight kind of scissor looking, like this was a sharp cutout. And there we go. I'll just touch up that manually. And this is looking pretty good now. Let me just scroll through here and make sure the rest of it is pretty good. I think this little edge right here, I'm going to touch up the jeans. And again, I'm just using shift and clicking, and I have my layer mask on with my black paintbrush. You could also use your eraser tool, but it's best practice to do a non-destructive edit always. All right, just touch up around this shoe. Again, I'm just shift clicking to get a nice straight edge. And then this area right here, I need to really touch up. All right, and then I'll use a little bit bigger of a brush to get the rest of this. Oh, I know why my brush is lagging. I have the smoothing dialed up, but that's okay. All right, that's pretty good. Good enough. All right, so I'm happy with that. So I'm actually going to turn off this solid color layer right here, and I'm going to go ahead and save this as a PNG so I can open it up in Adobe Illustrator. So I'm going to say File, Save a Copy. And I'm going to drop down to PNG because that's going to preserve my transparency. And you don't have to cut yourself out, but this is really useful if you want to do this solid color kind of look here. All right, so I've cut myself out. Well, this is not me, but I've cut out the person in this, and I'm going to go ahead and open up Illustrator now. So I'm going to say File, New. You always want to start with a new document. Okay, you never want to work inside the picture. You want to start with a new document. I'm going to go ahead and go to Print. I'm going to go to Inches. I'm going to do an 8 by 10 or maybe a 8 by 12 actually. It'll give me a little bit more height, and this is my doodle portrait. And I'll go ahead and say create, and I'll go ahead and add, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and do a solid color for my background. I don't know what I want yet. Maybe I'll just do like a navy blue with no stroke. Just give myself a rectangle to work on top of. If you want to be picky and make it the exact size of your artboard, you can do that. Oopsies. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and lock this layer so that way it won't move around. I'm gonna go ahead and open up my PNG that I just saved. Here's my PNG with my transparency, and then I can copy this and I can paste it in. Control V is paste. Oops, I'm gonna say no, I have to make a new layer. Whoopsies, make a new layer, and now I can paste. There we go, and I have my person in here. I'm gonna zoom out and I'm gonna hold Shift to resize this. All right, and now I have my person in here. I can go ahead and lock this and I can start my doodle portrait. So I'm gonna do my doodles on a whole new layer. Make sure you have your tablet. And then this is where, again, you could use the pencil if you want. I like working with the paintbrush. Remember, double click if you wanna go ahead and change any of these settings, if you wanna smooth it out more. I'll go ahead and put some smoothing on. Let's see, for my paintbrush, I'm gonna say no fill. And I'll just go ahead and grab maybe a light blue just for demoing. Again, you can change your size and all this stuff. And you can go ahead and start adding your things that you want to for your doodle portrait. Don't forget,